Too many Magic products are coming at us too quickly. Wizards of the Coast is carelessly throwing Magic products at players, hoping that something is going to stick, but what they're going to find is really something's about to break. If you feel like there's just too much product coming at you right now from Wizards of the Coast, and you feel like the prices are too high, you are definitely not alone, and there's a lot of players feeling exactly the way you do. Welcome back, everyone. MTG Moxman here. Thanks again for hanging out with me on the channel today. And it's an important discussion to have because Wizards of the Coast has just carelessly kept throwing products at us, and something at this point is gotta give. I don't know when it's going to happen, but a lot of players are feeling that same anger and frustration about the sheer amount of product that's still coming at us. Now, Wizards of the Coast says that they slim things down, and you can actually see it. We don't have as many jumpstart things. We don't have those products coming out anymore. There's no set and draft boosters. So, on a superficial surface, it looks like they gave us less. But did they really? Or did they just do a bait and switch and give you different things to look at? Because our wallets feel the same because prices have been increasing, and it seems like there's still a new product. I mean, Thunder Junction, at the time of this video, is on pre-release weekend. And then 60 days later is Modern Horizons 3, and players are already starting to grumble about the prices and the fact that it's just not going to be worth it. So let's take a moment, let's look at the schedule. Let's look what this company is talking about. Here's the release schedule for 2024 from Wizards of the Coast. You've got Ravnica Remastered, January 12th. Then you've got the Murders at Karlov Manor, February 9th. We had Clue Edition, February 23rd. Universes Beyond Fallout Commander decks. Oh, I still love the artwork. Great set. March 8th. Okay, we just had that. Then we got the Outlaws of Thunder Junction, April 19th. Modern Horizons 3, I believe, is in June 12th or something. And that's Q2 of 2024. Then we've got Universes Beyond Assassin's Creed, followed by Bloomborough, followed by Duskmourn, which I think those two last sets are going to be awesome. But think about the sheer volume you've seen there. Now on paper, that looks like, okay, it's over a whole year. But when you actually break that year down into the 12 months, you see there's a lot coming at you. And not only that, we all recognize the fact that we went to play boosters, right? We know we're there now. Play boosters. No more draft, no more set. So that's less, right? And we don't have Jumpstart booster boxes. So that's less, right? But with all these Universes Beyond products popping up, it's basically just doing a bait and switch and filling the gap in. They just said, oh, there's a brick missing here. Let's put this one in instead. It's a different color, but really it does the same thing and keeps building our wall. And that's where players find themselves recognizing that fact. They're recognizing that there's just still too much. And not to mention that each of these products isn't like it's a singular thing. You got collector boosters, you got draft boxes, you got premium boxes like Ravnica as a remastered set. And you got the standard sets. Guys, it's a lot to look at. It's a lot for players to take in. And yes, Wizards of the Coast can hype and they can say, yeah, just pick the ones you're interested in. But if a lot of you guys have been reading the subreddits and the boards and talking to your local LGS, it seems like Wizards of the Coast is really pressuring stores to order more stuff, to get their distributors to order more stuff because players still aren't really doing it. Players aren't interested. Now, why are they not interested? That's what Wizards of the Coast cares about, but they don't really care about it. They just want to find a way around the problem to get back into your wallet. They don't actually want to address the problem. There's too much stuff. And let's face it, guys, for a lot of us out there, it's too expensive. Because you may have said you've given us less, but what you did was give us the same and are still charging more. And that's where players are going to have a real issue, and it's starting to affect them. You can see the grumblings because we're just getting here to that release for Thunder Junction. And already players are hopping on saying, Modern Horizons 3 is right around the corner. Now, guys, and some players have been saving money already. They've been taking the assertive approach and saying, I want that product. I got to start saving for it. But just as many players are like, I didn't even get to enjoy Murders at Karlov Manor. I've barely only had a couple of months to look at Ravnica Remastered, and I've already got to jump over to the next big thing. And it's exhausting. Now, as a YouTube content creator, I love talking about all this stuff. I love to look at this stuff and have conversations with you guys. But for the average player out there who may feel that moment of excitement when an announcement comes, and the closer we get, they get built up. As soon as you start seeing everything and you look back at what you've been witnessing and reviewing, you start getting that feeling of exhaustion for all the things you've looked at and recognize that I spent money on X, Y, Z. I did this, covered this pre-release. And it just seems like you're almost burned out. You're almost burned out and ready just to sit down and just do something else. Now, Wizards of the Coast may not want to address that problem. They may not want to slim things down, but they really could. They could take the proactive approach instead of a reactive approach and prepare for a better player base. A more aware player base that they don't know is actually out there. Because the players nowadays recognize that they're feeling the burnout. That's why they're grumbling about it. That's why they step back and don't buy certain products. They recognize the value of those products, and they're not going to take whatever Wizards is shoveling their way anymore. And instead they go, I'm passing on that. I'm done with this. I'm done. I'm done. And they walk. And maybe they engage in the singles they want. Maybe they pick up a couple of cards, go to an F&M, support their local LGS, I hope. But at the same time, they're done. They wait for 1 or 2 products a year. And all that does for Wizards of the Coast is they start to cannibalize their own products. Because if stores aren't ordering things, they have to charge a higher price to get the products that they do get out the door. If stores aren't ordering, they can't run draft nights. They can't run pre-releases because people don't want to go to them. This is going to be a bigger and bigger issue. It's going to start as a small swell, which, by the way, it's already past that point. It's starting to grow bigger because I'm hearing it at a lot more locations. And conversations are starting to head that direction more often. Not general gameplay. Those are still great experiences. Great game to play. But in the games in between, when you're setting up a deck, when you're having a coffee, taking a bathroom break, the conversations you start to hear players talking about, and if they're talking about Magic, it lends to, there's just too much stuff. Don't you still think, like, I'm not buying those garbage commander decks. I don't care about that. I don't care about this. Why do they keep producing it? They keep making the store have to pick it up. Now the store is more in debt. All these things, this circular wheel that you're on. You're not the only one feeling it, and you're not alone. That's the good news. Now, unfortunately, for the players of Magic the Gathering, we're like singular entities with very small playgroups. We're not the juggernaut that kind of happens with the D&D crowd. When they revolted, Wizards had to do something. And the odd time, the Magic players have banded together for very small instances, and those things usually revolved around 30th anniversary, the first creation of the reserve list. They're like monumental events that happen when the Magic players all band together and be the juggernaut, get it? The juggernaut that we are. Wizards wouldn't know what to do if there was a mass revolt. It'd be hilarious to watch, but we're not there. There are the moments, but they're not. It's the exception, not the rule. How's that for a better analogy? So when the players are out there grumbling about this, and Wizards of the Coast is jacking up the sales to keep their balance sheet on track for profit, because they're a company, they gotta make money. They're going to have to figure out something sooner or later, because this looks like it can't continue. From a person on the outside looking in, I still get to play Magic all the time. I have a great time playing with my friends, deck testing things on Arena, having conversations on my channel. But you can see it when players are in between. You can see it from those odd play groups when they're just grumbling in the corner about it, because they have the right to grumble. They buy the product, they have the right to complain about the product because they are purchasing it. They're not just on the sidelines. They are active participants in the game. They support the company in one way or the other, and they feel, and I think they should, complain, grumble, and try to make the game better. Now, does that mean Wizards of the Coast is going to get the hint? No, not likely. I'll be honest. Chances are that's not going to be coming anytime soon. But as the months go on, as the years go on, and if they see dwindling sales or things going wrong, they will look for ways to correct it. But they're doing damage to themselves all along the way. Because let's jump back here for a second. I know I'm jumping ahead of myself. When you look at the products they put out, Murder's Karlov Mana, Ravnica Remastered, Modern Horizons 3, big premium product, No Master Series product this year. When you look at those products, stores are ordering less, the prices are up, sales are down overall from what I remember and what I've recorded so far. Doesn't mean they're dismal everywhere, guys. I know a lot of people don't make it this far in my videos and they'll put a comment out there saying, well, I had great sales in my area. Yes, you may have, but a lot of areas aren't like yours and they don't have the same sales. They don't have the same magic crowd. And some of the smaller areas and smaller towns, they really rely on those sales and secondary sales just to keep the doors open. Be aware of that because these stores start disappearing, because they can't keep open, because players don't buy it, don't engage in it, because there's a whole litany of things that go behind it, but that's kind of where you're at. So what happens is, when Wizards puts out a product like Murders at Karlov Manor, and it sells a few boxes and the stores have a few boxes left, then you go over, and we jump over to the Clue game, which I don't think anybody I know bought it. Then you jump over to Fallout, did great, but there's still a few boxes and stuff sitting there. You got a few things sitting on the sidelines. That's product sitting on a shelf, not moving now, because the money has moved on. And players look and go, oh yeah, I remember that. But it goes on. And instead of somebody getting a few extra weeks or a month or two to enjoy a product and maybe purchase some more packs, what actually happens is they cannibalize their own products. Because they're moving so quickly, products sit on a shelf, stores order less because they can't move the product because the money moved on. We've talked about this on this channel a few times, that as the money moves on, as that cash is flowing out, it doesn't usually become a residual back to an old product. It can in some circumstances, but it's not the norm anymore. Again, exception, not the rule. Where we used to have players go back and buy old packs months or years later, that just doesn't happen anymore. The reprint problem, all these issues with players moving products faster and faster means they don't step back and enjoy the old products because they're trying to keep up with what's going on in front of them. Now, maybe that will change with Standard coming back to life, and maybe we'll get a break at some point. But at this point in time, the way Magic players feel, it's not going to happen. More Magic players are taking a break, they're stepping back, enjoying the cards they have, maybe going to individual singles, picking up the odd packs or two, but the idea that Wizards can continue to just carelessly throw set after set after set in front of us, throw as much as they can at the wall, and just hope enough of it sticks, it's gonna hit a wall. It's gonna hit a point where nobody's gonna pick stuff up, or it'll be such poor results that nothing can save it at that point, and they'll have to step back and reevaluate the company's position on how they take care of the consumer. Guys, I want to know what you think about all of this. I know a lot of you are having a rough time, but let's put some comments down in the comment section. Let's have a conversation about too much too fast and what we can do about it. Thanks again, guys. Thanks for hanging out with me on the channel today. Don't forget, shop smart, shop S-Smart, and always bring a friend to Magic. We're here. We've made it to the credits, the demigods, the table lords, the party room patrons, the patron heroes of this channel, Soldevi Excavation supporters, and of course, the Necronomicon Page 101, and everyone else in between. These are the amazing patrons and supporters of the channel. Guys, thanks again. We'll see you tomorrow. Welcome back, guys. You're here. You've made it to the end. You're at the Ramble Jamble. Actually, by the time you might be going to a pre-release soon. I hope you guys have an awesome time at your pre-release. Kick some butt, have a great time, and enjoy yourselves. And maybe you'll talk about a candelabra because the wrong clip got loaded. Yeah, I know. Editing mistakes happen. It's a busy life. I'm a one-man show. You guys get it. Thank goodness. All right, so this is going to be an issue, guys. I've seen it now in a few different conversations where people I didn't expect to start talking about this are talking about it. The idea that Modern Horizons 3 has commander decks. It's really upsetting a lot of players. There may be players who want to indulge in it, don't get me wrong, but it's upsetting a lot of players. The idea that they're being encouraged to order more and more product has a lot of LGSs on edge, okay? They just don't have the cash flow. And then you have a whole section of players who just feel things like Modern Horizons 3 are just too expensive. It's too much money and they don't want to pay the bill. They're like, nah, that's just too much. I'll grab a couple singles. I'll still save myself a bucket load of cash. Now, again, we don't even know all the cards in Modern Horizons 3. I still think it's going to be a smash success, actually. There's just the way they've done Modern Horizons 2, if they follow that same blueprint, but we are in a different time. We are in a different economic time right now, so maybe it won't sell as well, but I think it will. My gut, I always listen to the gut. The gut tells me it's going to be kind of crazy. Again, depending on the cards they put in the set. It could be a smash hit, or it could be a medium hit, but I don't think it can flop. They're not going to do a set that badly. At least we hope they won't. Now that I realize I'm talking about Wizards, it makes me realize, yeah, they have made mistakes like this before. Yeah, who knows? Anyway, lots of conversation to happen. We'll talk this weekend. Don't forget, we have the top 10 this weekend. And, of course, I have no idea. I've only looked at a few of the reserve list cards. I don't know how good it's going to look on the reserve list, but I do know a few cards have been selling. It was very interesting. So we'll look at those this weekend. Guys, have a blast. Thanks for hanging out with me today. And remember, if you're this far in the video, if you made it right to the end, this is what you need to do. You're going to put Ash Williams in the comment section. There may be a reason for it that I'm not going to tell you about.